Dave Bauer, market leader in the development of minor league baseball stadiums, but so much more for Populous. Talk about Populous generally and how, it used to be HOK, but started kind of the whole world of architecture, and everybody's always from HOK or Populous. Give us kind of the elevator speech of developing the world leader in architecture for sports.
I think that, one, very fortunate to be involved with the company. Certainly, Populous is, I've been in the career there for 31 years. And for me, I've seen a lot happen over those years. The growth of the company itself, the growth of the sports practice. I mean, we consider ourselves a design firm doing architecture. And when we look at the challenges that have happened, we've seen certainly a lot of entities grow out of one common source in Kansas City. There's a common element that you can trace through the different bloodlines, if you will, of the different companies. But I think where we are today in the sports architecture practice is something that has taken us way beyond our wildest dreams, if you will. We are creating new venues, creating new opportunities. We're affecting trends that are happening throughout the industry, whether it's the food trends we talked about, all the different concession items are available for different parts of the country. We look at the different seating types. We look at what families are looking for. We've talked about the generation of what is now a suite, how that came about. We focus now a lot of our attention on reducing fixed seats in ballparks and creating more of the public spaces, public gathering places. Any place you can have a conversation like this, enjoy the game, maybe buy a drink, have it sitting on the counter in front of you with a hot dog, someplace you can just enjoy the environment. Conversational, social atmosphere. It builds community, it builds social structure, but at the same time, you see it also affecting generations to come in our profession, in our games. The kids that come, when I take my grandkids to the games, those kids are pulling at my coattail to take them to the next game. So you see them then growing in that same generation like I did with my dad. My dad had season tickets to Royals games, season tickets to the Chiefs game, and I went with him. I want my kids to go with me. I want my grandkids to go with me. And that's one thing about, to me, baseball, and I've been privileged to work in the industry as long as I have. I played ball, couldn't get enough of it, happy to still be a designer in the market. But when I look at what we've done, all of the architects in the sports architecture business, we have created and we continue to look for more ways to enhance the experience of the fan and the families and to grow that practice, to grow that generational experience that our families have.
One of the things that we're learning from the seminar we had here at the baseball winter meetings is that baseball provides a sense of community cohesiveness that other sports may not. You described a little bit of it, but develop that a little bit more. Also in the context of your expertise in design, designing areas where people will gravitate and talk, and maybe in places or in ways that they never would do in normal daily life.
It's a good example. I mean, we talk a lot. A lot of the clubs have, a simple event called Thirsty Thursdays, for example, where that's an opportunity for all cross sections of a community to come and gather at the ballpark. It's a social hour. Many times, the ballparks don't even have this area in visibility of the field itself. A lot of times it's off to the side. But as long as these people are in a social atmosphere, they're talking to each other, they're listening, they're taking in, they're being a part, they're communicating amongst themselves at the ballpark, then you've got that same experience. I mean, think about it. They're still buying your food and beverage. They're still buying a general admission ticket to get in. And you're building their want to be in the ballpark. So it's whether you take an area like we did in Nashville in the right field corner, which is a bar, and it's got some games that they're coming down from Main Street downtown there, and they're coming down the hill, and they're involved in the ballpark, and they're taking that in. It's a social atmosphere, and it's just a place that people have to go to. And so many of our ballparks now, what we're seeing most is that these social areas are growing. 1, 2, 3, 4 different social areas are not uncommon in ballparks. Instead of meet me in section 2, seat 1, meet me in right field corner. Meet me in this other location. And that's what it's really becoming. It's the socialization of our communities, and it's important.
How do you explain to an owner, not everybody, but owners are always so conscious of ROI, and the dollars. And a lot of what you're describing, while important, is not easily quantifiable as well. How do you strike that balance?
Well, the fortunate thing for us is that in almost every single case, I don't know of one that is not this case, but owners are looking for this. Owners are hungry to want to find ways to satisfy the needs of the fans. What is it going to take to get them? So the owners are not hesitant. The owners are encouraging, if you will, us to move in that direction faster and do more of it. It's because, again, they see what's happening. Again, they see that from the ROI standpoint, like I said earlier, you're still selling food and beverage. You're still selling a GA. But at the same time, they're coming. It becomes a part of their life to go to your game. And they see that. Owners get that. Owners get that.
So I guess the final big question as far as trends in the industry, and you all are uniquely qualified to talk about it given your international expertise, everybody is getting more separate and distant. We now have the devices which you can get everything on, and the idea is to make sure that you have an ability to live your life in a sedentary and isolated existence should you choose to. Yet you're in a position of attempting to design facilities that's all about social relationships and being a little more interactive. How does that work long term? What happens 5 years from now, for example?
Who knows?
Yeah, good
Who knows,
answer.
who knows
Good
what's going to
answer.
happen in 5 years? I don't
answer.
think anybody could have predicted 10 years ago where we are today. So I think the magic and what continues to drive us as designers is what is it that we want to be in 5 years? What do we want to see advance in our marketplace in the next 5 years? We don't know what it is right now.
Yeah.
But I think when we continue to search for it and we continue to experience it in the faces of those that are coming to the ballpark and talking to those at the ballpark, working with owners that are forward thinking in this thing, it's going to evolve. And I'm very, very excited about what the future holds. Again, I don't know what it is. I don't know anybody does know what it is. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to what it's going to be. What are my grandkids going to experience, Rick, when they come to the game?
Well, and you are a trustee of history and legacy. So final question, how important is the power of sports in doing what you do as designing showcase facilities for people?
You know, I'm going to go off the topic of baseball for one second.
Sure.
I witnessed 2 weeks ago, my grandkids were involved in a robotics competition at the local high school. And when I saw those robotics teams, and these weren't the crash 'em up robotics, these were the game playing robotics. When I saw those youngsters put together a team, just as I would put together a baseball team when I was the same age, or a kickball team, or whatever the sport was, these kids are still putting together a team. Each of them has an important part on that team for the robotic repair or construction, understanding the game, putting other teams together. And I watched those kids work that. So it's happening. That generation is getting it. They're learning about teamwork. I also see it. I mean, I'm fortunate to watch my grandsons play baseball also and soccer. Baseball, I will never get it out of my blood. I just love it so much. I grew up and I never escaped it. But it's the game. It's a socialization of the game. It's learning to work with others. It's learning to play fairly with others. Respect. I mean, all of that is the same game, whether it's baseball, football, soccer, robotics. All of those have the very same key components: leadership, respectability, the knowledge, technological knowledge, and the desire.
Well, and I think what we're looking forward to with a company that can influence trends like this and a trustee of those trends, we're in very good shape. Thank you very much.